Welcome to the Anything Goes podcast. I am Kombat AllStar, and dudes, I am sorry this is coming out so late. Usually it's not this late, but my life has been crazy, man. I've been having all kinds of things I have to deal with, trying to find a new place and some career things going on. A lot of really cool stuff, but it's been taking a lot of my time, and I'm sorry. I know I usually have the podcast up by 1 o'clock Mountain Standard, which is around like noon Pacific time. But yeah, anyway, again, sorry about that. It's been crazy. But today I kind of wanted to talk wrestling, and it's, I was watching SummerSlam last night. Of course, the world was watching SummerSlam last night, and there was a lot of, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't a good show. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was much better. I felt like that should have been SummerSlam. I mean, with Bobby Roode, just all those guys. They just killed it. That whole night was just amazing. Shinsuke Nakamura beating Samoa Joe. The main event was awesome. It was just that they do everything right, and I cannot for the life of me understand why the top shows still are trying to find their way. It doesn't make any sense to me. But like I said, SummerSlam wasn't all that great. It wasn't that great, and the thing that came out of it to me was just. I don't. Is it me, or is are wrestlers kind of careless these days? I mean, Seth Rollins injured Finn Balor. That's like the third person he's injured. First, if memory serves me, he broke John Cena's nose. Then John Cena had to get surgery to get it replaced. It was messed up. He kneed him right in the nose and crushed his cartilage and everything. And then he injured Sting, and he gave him whiplash, and I think he had a back injury and a neck injury out of that. And he did I think it was a power bomb, or I think it was it was some sort of movie that on the turnbuckle, kind of like it's not even coming to me, but he did it was almost like a power bomb on the turnbuckle, and that's how he hurt Sting. And then at SummerSlam, he did the same thing to Finn Balor, but not on the turnbuckle, but on the actual barricade. So he did the power bomb on the barricade, and it just destroyed his shoulder. I think his rotator cuff is what was actually got messed up. So it destroyed his rotator cuff, and it's all bad. I don't get that. Why do they keep having this guy work? This guy literally continues to hurt people, and not like regular people, but big stars, people who could draw money and make money. I mean, you had it could have been an awesome match with him and Sting. It could have drew a lot of money, but he hurt him. They had to end the match a lot quicker than they were supposed to. I mean, he hurt the money machine, John Cena, and broke his nose, and he was out for a while. And then he goes on to hurt Finn Balor, who's supposed to be the future of Raw. And when is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? When are they going to stop giving this guy main event stuff? Back in the day, if you hurt somebody, you were fired. You were suspended if it was a small injury. You were fired if it was a big injury. I mean, come on. When Goldberg when he hurt Bret Hart, when he gave him that stroke, he kicked him on the side of the head. He was actually out. He was suspended for a while. I mean, you can't do that. And I'm sure if it was WWE, he probably would have been fired or suspended longer. But it was WCW, and they were poorly mismanaged. They were just a whole other beast, and they were just pretty awful at pretty much everything. But with Goldberg, it was an accident. He doesn't hurt people. I mean, Ryback is also another one known for hurting people. And then Brock Lesnar actually, hurt Randy Orton. He took it to the next level. There was some controversy around that. Jericho was really upset that Brock Lesnar did that. He was asking if it was a work or not. He was asking some people by the ring in the gorilla position if it was a work or not, and they weren't quite sure. And then he came out. Brock Lesnar came behind the curtain and overheard Chris Jericho and then called him something. None of the places that I've read, the articles that I've read, have said what he called him, but it was expletive, as they say. So Chris Jericho shoved him towards the wall, and they were about to fight, and Triple H had to break it up. And then later that night, they shot a little more, and then Vince broke it up and was like, hey, it was a work. And Vince probably just said that just to make Jericho feel better, but I mean, if you watch the match, that match is so slow and so stupid. And after hearing Dean Ambrose and on the Stone Cold podcast talk about how he had all these great ideas for the match, but he didn't want to listen to anything that he had to bring to the table, like, who is this guy? How come Seth Rollins, who hurts people, and Brock Lesnar, who hurts somebody, and they both don't care, they're getting passes. They're still getting main event spots. I mean, they just had a Fatal 4-Way tournament on Raw, and Seth Rollins is back in the game. I mean, he's back to in the title hunt. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why do they reward people like this, and then they hate on other people like Ryback? So it doesn't make any sense to me. I'll never understand wrestling politics. It's just so stupid. Moving on, the rest of the show, it was usually when I do like a review of like one of the big four, like SummerSlam or something, because it's supposed to be a big deal. You got WrestleMania, which is the biggest deal of all time as far as wrestling goes, and you got SummerSlam, which is I kind of call it WrestleMania light, and it's supposed to be big deals, and they're not, because the show that they put on is such crap. Even the good people that are on the show, they tone it down. They tone it down because it's just the person they work with isn't good. And then if they do work with someone who's good, they've toned it down for so long that they're not as good as they used to be. Watching Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go at it in NXT, or Sasha Banks and Bayley go at it in NXT, or Charlotte and Sasha Banks go at it in NXT, or like any of Apollo Crews' match in NXT, it's just phenomenal. They're great matches. You can pick any one of those matches, and they're good matches to watch. And then you get somebody like Apollo Crews come up to SmackDown, and then he's fighting for the IC title against The Miz, and it's slow and it's boring, and it's like, dude, I've seen you do better. But obviously he's in the ring with The Miz, and Miz is a great wrestler, a great athlete. I've seen what he can do in the past, but he's comfortable. I think a lot of those guys are comfortable. During the Stone Cold podcast, when he was talking to Dean Ambrose, he even pointed out, you're resting on your loins. I've seen what you could do on the indies. I've seen what kind of wrestler you are. How come you're not showing all that to the people? How come you're not letting people know who you are? And I could tell Dean Ambrose was really offended by that, but it's the truth. It's not only Dean, it's everybody. I feel like when they first come up here from NXT, they're pretty, raw, and they're pretty, not, for lack of a better word, stuck in their ways, which is a good thing, because being stuck in your ways, and if you're a great wrestler, a great competitor, and then coming up to the major leagues, the quote-unquote major leagues, and then you're doing it, you're putting on some awesome matches. But then again, they got to slow down the pace. They got, I don't know what they think they're doing. They're not telling the story. I could deal with a slow-paced match if you're telling a good story. Like, what was that match? It was Undertaker versus Triple H, and then you had Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. I can't remember what WrestleMania that was. I know Undertaker was 20-0 after that match. It was dubbed the end of an era. What a great match. What a great match for storytelling. It wasn't technical. We all know Taker's way too old to do any kind of technical match. He's basically a brute. He has to be. So he's in there punching, doing his strikes, taking chair shots, hitting people with chairs. So I feel like that's kind of that's the way to go. Not that's the way to go, but that's the way that a lot of the old people go when they're getting up there. They can't lock up like they used to. The reflexes aren't as good as they used to, so they got to compensate. They got to compensate by going out there and having brutal matches. A lot like what Brock Lesnar does. So with that said, it's just sad. It's sad. You got these great guys who are being brutal, and then you got these young guys who are coming up from NXT and are dialing it way down, and it's just, what kind of a product is that? And I've watched Lucha Underground since it came out, so I can safely say it's been around for 2 years. I know the new season is coming up pretty soon, but Lucha Underground has been around for 2 years, safe to say, and they've never dialed it down. Granted, they don't have a developmental that they display everything, but they do have AAA, which airs in Mexico. And then they come over here and they kill it. Ultimate Lucha Dos was awesome. Seeing Pentagon Dark go through his transformations. And the thing is, they don't sacrifice in-ring talent or in-ring matches for a story. They do it the right way. If you guys go on Saturday Night Main Event, you watch any of those Saturday Night Main Events from the 90 prior, you'll see some amazing stuff. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's high octane, it's high energy, the whole match. You know, and it doesn't have to be an Ultimate Warrior match. I mean, it could be a Rick Rude match or a $1 Million Man match. Those matches are high octane the whole time, and they go for an hour, and they make you entertained, and they draw you in. And, you know, they tell a story, and sometimes the matches are slow, depending on how long they go, but they're never boring. They're never, ever boring, and they tell a story. The slower the match, the better the story. Sometimes it doesn't equate to that. I mean, you got great storytellers, like Jake the Snake, who would just go in the ring and do it. And then you had, you know, Dusty Rhodes, who would cut a promo. Back in those days, what they would do is they would cut a promo right before the match starts. So, like, Dusty Rhodes would cut a promo, and then he would go out. You know, if he's fighting $1 Million Man, he would cut a promo on $1 Million Man, walk to the ring, and then, you know, kind of celebrate with the people while his entrance is going on. And then in the back, you got Jesse the Body interviewing $1 Million Man. And, you know, he's cutting the promo while the crowd is eating up whatever he's putting down out there in the ring. And then he comes out, and then, you know, they go at it. But, you know, when they cut those promos, it built to the match, especially with Saturday Night Main Event, which I believe only happened once a month. So it was a good time. It was great. And they need to have that again. I mean, they need to go ahead and be able to find that balance, strike that balance where you can tell a story with a slow-paced match. If it's going to be slow because we know that's a 3-hour show and blah, 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 go ahead and do it. I mean, do it the right way. I don't know how many times I've seen Macho Man go in there and tell a story with every move that he did. It was just charismatic. The Rock was really good at that. Shoot, Shawn Michaels was good at that. Hulk Hogan was good at that. Going in there and not going in there like Natty and going, yay, and stopping every time you kick somebody. That's not how you tell a story. I'm talking about you, like, you know, you're making an expression like, yeah, I got you good, where you grab their arm and kind of just twist, slowly, like twisting their arm in the arm lock, and then, you know, like striking it down, like boom, you know, holding on to the wrist and just kind of yanking their arm down, like going to yank it out of the socket, and building a story that way. And that you can get a lot from a headlock. If you guys watch Holy Foley on the WWE Network, Mick Foley explains the psychology of a headlock to his daughter who's trying to be a wrestler, and it's perfect. It's textbook old school wrestling. Nowadays, I just see people kind of do it, drop on a headlock and then like lick their lips and look at the crowd, and it's very slow and very boring. But back in those days, when Mick Foley kind of explained it, you put the headlock on them, and then the opponent is trying different ways to get out of the headlock, so they're, you know, lifting up the elbow a little bit, trying to peek under the elbow to see if that'll work, and then, oh no, my opponent's too strong, and they drop the elbow, and then they're trying to like maybe pick them up, but they're too heavy. So, you know, just all these things that tell the story, and, you know, the facial expressions, the emotions, just little things like that go a long way in pulling you into that match. And that is the art of wrestling, and that is what makes it great. Going out there, putting on a decent match, being a good performer, you know, a stunt man with some acting chops. That's what a wrestler is. And to see that's what Mick was talking about. This simple headlock. You can't get that from anything today. And it's sad. I mean, Damian Sandow was one of those people that could do it, that could tell the story, and they got rid of him. I mean, there are a few people in the WWE that can tell those great stories, but I feel like they're dialing it down. I mean, thank goodness SmackDown isn't dialing people down right now. I do have my fears that this will happen. I mean, it's happening on Raw, and Raw's flagship show. It's 3 hours long. So I feel like, you know, it's going to eventually leak to SmackDown, or, you know, kind of bleed over into SmackDown. And it shouldn't. It 100% shouldn't. Back in the day when those shows were competing, SmackDown was the wrestling show and Raw was the entertainment show. We all knew it. I mean, come on. That's why the WCW World Heavyweight Championship was on SmackDown. I mean, come on. I mean, there's no way you can deny that. That was definitely the wrestling show, and they should keep that tradition and have SmackDown be the wrestling show. I'm not sure why they keep having all these people, these really, really good wrestlers like Kevin Owens and Bayley. I mean, they got, the 4 horsewomen over on Raw. It doesn't make any sense. If SmackDown's the wrestling show, why are these wrestlers on an entertainment show? Same thing with Cesaro. Same thing with Sami Zayn. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of like they got their wires crossed or something. But I mean, they should definitely keep it that way. I mean, and right now everything kind of mixed over. I feel like either show still doesn't have their own identity. I know this last Raw they had, they used the same stage from SummerSlam, which is weird. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the new Raw stage, and then they're going to make a totally different one for SmackDown. I have no idea, but I know both shows are still kind of searching for their identity. I feel like SmackDown has more of an identity right now than Raw does, because Raw's kind of, status quo with a little bit of, wrinkles here and there. But, I would like to see a variety, a difference. And if there's going to be a difference, keep the lazy people on Raw. Keep the people that don't care and want to hurt people like Seth Rollins on Raw and Brock Lesnar on Raw. And you keep the good people on SmackDown, like Cesaro, even Naomi that was on SmackDown doing her booty move. It's like, dude, I mean, come on. Like, I'm a man, I like women, I like booty, so, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but when I'm watching my wrestling, I want to see competition. I want to see women go at. I want to see them go at like Trish Stratus and Lita, the classics that they used to have. I want to see, the Great Muta and Mae Young. I want to see like Glow. If you guys don't know what Glow is, go Google it. It was a wrestling organization that was all women, and it was phenomenal. So, I mean, I want to see stuff like that. I don't want to see, booty shaking. I mean, leave that to Raw if you're going to do it, and leave SmackDown alone, leave it pure. So that's just my 2 cents on SummerSlam, on people hurting people, just I guess the state of wrestling in general. I always like to kind of, talk to you guys about it, here and there. I know it's not particularly a hot topic on my channel, I know, and I say it every time I do a video. You guys are probably tired of hearing it. But I swear, once I get a video that's like over 10 likes or over 10 views or something, that's when I'm talking about wrestling, you'll see, I'll shut up about it finally. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I really, really want it to be good. I want it to be good. And it sucks when you have something like TNA, which is phenomenal and is literally doing everything right. And then you got these big shows like Raw and SmackDown, which continuously drop the ball. Or sometimes they'll pick it up, they'll run a few yards, they'll drop it again, and it's a little frustrating. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I guess it is what it is, and I'm hopefully, somebody up top hears this, or enough of us complain, because wrestling fans are very vocal, and they fix it. We'll see what happens. Time will tell, as they say. I know, like I said, NXT is killing it. Lucha Underground is killing it. TNA, I'm not sure what's going on with them. I honestly haven't watched them in a long time. I heard that they are putting on fantastic shows now, and the what is it called? The Deleted, I can't remember what it's called. Destination Deleted or something, where Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy were going at it. The Final Deletion, that's what it's called. I heard that the Final Deletion was phenomenal. Actually, sat down and watched that match. It was a great match. It was done very creatively and very good. But I think right now for TNA it's too little, too late. I did hear that Dixie Carter stepped down. And she has someone else running the company. But again, too little, too late. Hopefully they can get their fans up. I would love to be wrong about this and they kind of bounce back and come back harder than ever. But from where I'm sitting, I don't think so. I think any other wrestling company could come in there and take their spot at any time. If Lucha Underground was not on El Rey Network, or if El Rey Network was in more homes, they'd be killing it. They'd probably be #1 right now. And Vince would have a real problem on his hands. So would USA. But I digress. What do you guys think of everything that I've talked about? I know it's a lot of wrestling stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of watching this since I was in diapers, so I had to talk about SummerSlam and how disappointed I am, and how, Seth Rollins, I don't understand. I did a rant on him a long time ago and I don't understand. But anyway, let me know what you think about everything I talked about wrestling. Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, all the injuries, the storytelling, slow matches, everything. Comment below and let me know. And of course, my peeps out there in YouTube land. Until next time, so long.